Good evening and a very, very warm welcome to you. Thank you, wherever you may be, for joining in and tuning in to the Football Out West show. It is episode 102 of our fourth season, and my name is Tonchi Prusak, and joining me tonight, my co-host Steve Curtin. Good evening, Steve. What a weekend of football it has been as we edge closer and closer to the end of the season proper.
That's right, mate. Just 1 week to go to the grand final and just raced in the door. Got home from Lakeside Stadium a short time ago here. Saw our good compatriot Craig Filer there, and hopefully he'll be joining us soon when he gets back home himself. And the grand finals are decided, so just waiting to hear the venue and the times of those grand finals. So yeah, it's been a good day here. Lots of excitement, usual fun. Out marathon training this morning for Melbourne Marathon in just 4 weeks to go, so that's getting a bit scary. But I hear you had a very good Father's Day and a little bit of success on the field with the under-12s today, Tonchi. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh, we'll talk about that. But before we do, yes, you did let the cat out of the bag. Craig Filer will be joining us. He's driving like a mad lunatic down the Princess.
Very responsibly. He's driving very responsibly.
Nah, not Craig Filer. No, you got.
We've got to put on a good front here for our viewers of the show. We are responsible people in everything we do in life.
Because Craig's not here, I'm going to talk behind his back.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, you're right, Steve. He's driving responsibly.
Yep.
Good old Craig Filer. He'll be joining us. He's got lots of news to tell us from the NPL semi-final that was earlier today. We've got some great guests coming on later on the show. I'm just trying to deflect everything so I don't talk too much about what happened down at Alco Park today. But a big shout out to the North Geelong under-12 Wallabies. There they are. They made me very, very proud as a dad and a coach. They took out the 12 West Wallabies title 1 week before the season. Played against our good friends from Caroline Springs, George Cross. I'm sure they're tuning into the show. They were absolutely fantastic opponents today. Very respectful, very probably very, very tolerant of our very, very wild and crazy post-match celebrations. Big shout out to Geelong Soccer Club, Michael Clancy. He's one of the parents and one of the team managers from the. They were the second place team. They were one of the first to congratulate us, first to text us and say congratulations on winning the league championship. They drew today as a result of them drawing North Geelong winning. North Geelong have opened up a 4-point gap, and our two sides meet next week at Stead Park. So that's a little bit of a segue talking about something else. But
yeah, and that's the last game of the season as well next week. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. But all around Victoria, all around Melbourne, we've had some fantastic Father's Day moments. So to all the fathers out there, all the soccer dads, a big happy Father's Day from all of us here at the Football Out West show, and for both of us who have no longer got our dads, a happy heavenly Father's Day to all of the dads that are no longer with us, but their memory stays on with us. And so it is, as much of a happy day it is for a lot of people, it is also sad. But today can be a day of celebrating, that what we had. And with that, mate, celebrating, in fact, what we do have, a big shout out to Caroline Springs George Cross Football Club. They are our major sponsor this year. Without them, we certainly would not have been able to see season 4 right through to the end. So a big shout out to Mark Sultana, the president, Lisa Jurich, the general manager, Tony Tanaglia, the media person. They had a massive presentation night on Friday night. They are still recovering.
Huge. Yeah.
We were hoping, in fact, today to be our George Cross themed show, but as soon as the presentation night was completed, the players were just, they've flown over to their end of season trip. The girls are still involved. I believe they may be still involved in the playoffs. There was a grand final, I think, or final series playoffs being played today as well. So there's still a lot of football left. And as I said, mate, a massive shout out to everyone at George Cross. Hopefully they'll be on board in season 5 next year. We plan to have a huge, huge show, Steve. And here's a couple of words from our sponsors. We're going to be back after this short break with the rest of the show.
Find authentic Maltese cuisine at Georgie's on Vista in the heart of Fraser Rise. We have a menu to suit everyone, which includes kids and seniors meals, and a cocktail list that will need you to come back several times to get through. Our specialty nights are a big hit. Tuesday is $20 Palmer night with a selection of Palmers to choose from. Kids eat free Wednesday night. With every paid adult meal, you get one free kids meal. Thursday is Maltese night. Check out the Maltese specials on our specials board. And Friday night, we have happy hour between 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Be sure to book your table to avoid disappointment. Bookings can be made via our website, georgesonvista.com.au. See you at George's on Vista. You'll find us at Caroline Springs, George Cross. Guzman Finance, Point Cook's professional and trusted mortgage broker. Using the latest technology powered by Australian Finance Group, their lender panel has over 30 institutions, including the major banks. Whether you're in the market for your first home, refinancing, renovating, or buying an investment property, contact Andreas on 0425 826 055 or visit their website at guzmanfinance.smartonline.com.au.
Welcome back to the Football Out West Show. And Steve, you've got some interesting information, some very good information to do with our friends at George Cross, Caroline Springs, George Cross.
Yeah, well, Tonchi, you alluded to it with their senior women playing in their cross conference final this weekend. They've defeated Greenvale United 3-1 in extra time this afternoon. And the news is that they're going up to State League 1, the women's from Caroline Springs. State League 2, sorry. State League 2. The Caroline Springs George Cross women. Well, they've had a great season, haven't they? They've had a fantastic season in State League 3, along with Geelong Rangers, who had an excellent season.
Yeah, promotion.
Really good news and a good result this afternoon there for the George Cross senior women. So congratulations to all involved. And we've heard so many good things about them this season through our feature shows with Georgie's on Football Out West. And of course, our show in person there a couple of weeks ago wasn't that fun, but yeah, definitely well done to everyone involved. And it's good because Georgie's have put a lot of investment into promotion for their men's, but not only their men's getting promoted, but their women's getting promoted in the same season is a very good year of football, is it not?
Absolutely fantastic, and it's great to see some of these big clubs getting promoted. We'll be talking a little bit more about some big clubs getting promoted into higher divisions, higher competitions, because we'll be speaking to a few of our guests tonight. We've got some really great guests. What a week of Victorian football it has been. What an amazing week. And it started midweek with the Australia Cup, Steve. So we're going to have the Oakley Cannons coach, Chris Taylor, joining us very shortly. He is, look, the Cannons, what a cup set. During the week, they defeated Sydney FC to progress through to the semi-finals of the Australia Cup. Alan Webb, he'll be joining us. He's from South Melbourne. He scored the winning goal of today's game. We'll talk about that, Steve, very shortly because you were at the game as well. He'll be joining us around about 7:30. And then at 7:45, the coach of Heidelberg United, in the NPLW, Jonathan Clemente, who's been on the show before, a very welcome guest. He'll be coming on the show. Unfortunately, his team have not got through to next week's NPLW Grand Final, but he has got lots of interesting topics and issues to talk about next year's NPLW. But let's talk about what happened today. Steve, tell us all about the NPL semi-final at Lakeside.
Yeah, a gripping match. I'm going to say it was a gripping match. It wasn't a match for the purists. It was tight. It was combative. It was a match of moments, and the moment of the match was Alan Webb firing home a second ball, an outside of the foot volley, lashing it home at the northern end of the ground there, and celebrated in style. And there was a very healthy contingent of South Melbourne fans who were very, very boisterous, Tonchi, not only during the play, but also as the officials and players were leaving the field, maybe a little bit too much so at times. But it was good to see a good crowd in attendance there. Plenty of Gully fans as well in the green, and Gully fought hard to try and peg back that deficit after going behind midway through the second half. And they just couldn't find a way through that packed defence of South Melbourne players. So despite the loss of Harrison Sawyer, South Melbourne's continued to go on and get the results they need and find themselves in next week's grand final against the Oakley Cannons. And we'll talk about Oakley Cannons' extra time win against Port Melbourne as well last night. And what an exciting match that was as well. So 2 nail-biting finals, not a lot between all 4 teams involved at all. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. It'll be, an all-Greek final. And just looking forward to getting confirmation of, when and where we've got that one happening. There's a bit of conjecture in the comments at the moment. There's some thought that it might still be at Amy Park, and there's some thought that it might not be. I think with Brenton Ray's actually masquerading as the AFL reporter Tom Brown. So he's having a bit each way.
Ray. He goes, I got some dirt, Tonchi Prusak, Steve Curtin, just hearing from NPL Vic commentator Alex Zivkorovsky. Just messaged me, said Amy Park is the venue for the NPL Vic men's and NPL Vic women's grand final doubleheader next Sunday. Now, apparently there's a rugby final on the Saturday, Melbourne Storm or whoever it is. And so there is, likelihood that this would be on next Sunday. So we're not sure of time. I'm sure we're going to find that out very, very shortly, possibly within the next hour or so. And if we do find that out during the course of this show, we'll be letting you all know. If not, I'm sure Football Victoria will release that, but no doubt probably the conjecture there might be due to obviously double booking next week. And look, honestly, Steve, if it's going to be held anywhere, it needs to be held at Amy Park. I think it's become the football home here in Victoria. You certainly can't have it at South Melbourne because South Melbourne, that's their home ground. So, look, that is going to be, hopefully that we'll find out very shortly. If it is a 4 p.m. kickoff, now we can also give another scoop, is that next week's show, the final show of the season, will go to air at 8 p.m. In fact, we're more than likely that next week's episode of the Football Out West show, the final episode for season 2022, will go to air at the special time of 8 p.m. Now we've got there's a lot of news happening this week. On Monday, the gold medal night, the NPL Victoria or the Football Victoria
tomorrow night.
So we'll find out.
First one since 2019. So it's been a long time coming, hasn't it? Since Joe Guest was crowned the player of the season, winning the gold medal in 2019. That seems like light years ago.
And we'll have a new player of the year for both the men's and the women's competition announced tomorrow night, and hopefully we'll have that person on next week's show, as well as the eventual winners and champions of next week's double header. We're assuming that's going to be the case. Now we've got Craig Filer's just joining us. Craig, good evening. Welcome to the Football Out West show. It's like we're interviewing a guest. How are you, mate? He's huffing and puffing. And
he is. He's just...
Hello.
Yeah, I'm very well. Very well.
Take
bit of a mad rush, I have to say. So
traffic was horrendous. You got everything plugged in and set up there and configured.
It was a mad rush. We were saying what sort of driving you were going all the way from Lakeside Stadium. I said, he's a madman on the road. He's trying to get home as quickly as possible. Steve said you're responsible. I disagree.
Yeah, there's a good chance I got some points anyway.
Anyway, mate, any news? What's the latest news from Lakeside Stadium? Do we know anything about an NPL Grand Final doubleheader for next week? Don't tell me we lost him.
No, not yet. I think still waiting for that. Maybe our guest Chris Taylor will know more about that.
Possibly. Yep, we've got Chris Taylor on the show very, very shortly. Hopefully, very soon. By the way, we're talking about that achievement in the Australia Cup during the weeks. Craig, how did you see it? That was just an incredible. Oh, he's gone off. I think he's trying to get camera. I think he's trying to get Chris on the show. So he'll be back very, very shortly. But mate.
Yeah, shall we talk about that Australia Cup result a bit more?
Let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. I've got that in the background.
Here we go. There's a bit of footage.
There we go. This is. Let's talk about that. Look, what a result that was. It was absolutely fantastic result. I mean, seriously, not that often that you get the the NPL minnows dominating so well against A-League powerhouses. But look, Sydney United have done the same thing. Okay, they defeated West United a couple rounds ago. But and Craig's going to join us. There is Craig. Yeah. How did you, Craig? When we got you on the show,
you have.
We have. How did you see Wednesday's big game, the Australia Cup clash, when Oakley this?
Oh, what a performance from Chris Taylor's Oakley Cannons. We were speaking about it this afternoon, Steve. They've just got this never say die attitude. I don't know how they've done it, if I'm honest. The amount of football that these guys have played, I think 40 odd plus games that they've played this year. And to keep going back to back to back to back with the same group of players. Yes, they've had a few injuries, as we know. Has been phenomenal. And look, they were under the pump for a lot of the second half. But it didn't matter because they did the hard work in the first half, and I thought they were very very well deserved winners at the end of the day. And it's fantastic to see, two NPL clubs in the semi-final of, not both NPL Victoria, but two NPL clubs of Australia in the semi-finals, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. The Victorians over the years, Steve, have done extremely well, whether it be the A-League clubs, whether it be the NPL clubs. Are we fast developing a reputation as being, outside the A-League, the best competition in Australia, best football competition? I mean, that's a silly question. Of course we are, but in your opinion, what do you think?
All biases aside, but in a word, Tonchi, yes. Yes, that is the case. And you saw that this season when there was that extra spot that was available that was given to a Victorian side. So we actually got to have five NPL Victoria sides in there. And that's based on, data and results that's happened in the past, that the Victorian sides always do well. It's a shame that some of them were knocked out almost all at the same time, but it's great that Oakley Cannons are still going, and so many good stories to come out of that match. Nick Feely, missing out injured, and they draft in Lewis Italiano, flying him in from Perth on the day of the game, hasn't met the other players. There's a 14-year-old goalkeeper as the sub-keeper on the bench. Like, all these things are going on. Like, this is real drama that should be consumed by the whole Australian sporting public, not just the footballing public, because this isn't happening in any other sports, and this is why we have the Australia Cup, and it gives us hope that football can, become the dominant sport in the Australian sporting landscape. And at a minimum, the national second division's got that space to be that competition that can really profit from these sorts of experiences that we're seeing in the Australia Cup.
Yeah, we spoke this afternoon, Steve, very briefly about Oakley and their performance, and I said that the performance that they had the other night against Sydney, albeit Sydney are in pre-season. Granted, we get that, but do you think a team like Oakley would fare in the A-League?
I mean, at the moment, you look at some of the teams that were down the bottom end last season, and they'd have with that quality of the front four is good quality. We're talking as well today, you look at the likes of the double pivot there, and the most underrated player in NPL Victoria we're talking about today with yourself and Lockie Flanagan, Oliver Kubalay, players like that. But also you look at Aaron Williams with Oscar Dillon. That's a very good central defensive partnership. Experience of Matthew Fashini. Yes, he's maybe past his best when he was at Victory, and the youngster Anthony Pantazopoulos, who's so combative, and he's really stepped up. And I think he wanted to get himself on the score sheet the other night too, but he invariably provided an assist, maybe by accident. But it was another good performance by him. He doesn't take any backward steps, the youngster, and as well as that front four. You think, well, you know what? Definitely, they could be just about a mid-table A-League team with that squad almost, albeit maybe not the same depth of an A-League squad. I think
maybe
would you say so as well?
I would, Steve. Look, I've seen them. We've both seen them enough this year to think they do a very, very good job in that. And the likes of their head coach Chris Taylor, would be worthy and deserving of a chance of putting himself on that big stage. Tonch?
Do you know what, guys? I mean, you mentioned it, Craig, earlier before. They've played 40 plus games this year. They've been involved in some massive games, and look, I'm just looking at the monitor now. The huge games coming up. Obviously the grand final next Sunday. The following Wednesday, they've got the big game, the semi-final of the Australia Cup against Macarthur FC at home. And look, these are part-time players. These are all players and coaches who have got full-time jobs. They have to get up tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, go off to work. If they're in the second division, they'd probably be professional. They'd probably be full-time, training maybe 5-6 times a week. And probably given that opportunity, naturally their football would go to another level. So if they're achieving what they're achieving now, and not only are they competitive, but doing very well against A-League opponents, tell you what, if a club like that was given an opportunity to be full-time professional, mate, they would take it to a whole new level. In fact, any of the NPL clubs. So, absolutely, Craig. I think they'd be a club like that would do very well on the national stage.
Yeah, look, and I'm sure there'd be clubs in New South Wales and Queensland would say exactly the same. But I do think, given the amount of players that we have that come into state down to Victoria, that NPL Victoria is the strongest league in Australia, and that proves with the amount of teams we had in the latter stages of the cup, doesn't it?
Yeah, and look, next year, should I say, how exciting, Steve? A rejuvenated Brunswick Juventus in NPL 2, Preston Lions promoted to NPL 2, George Cross, Caroline Springs George Cross promoted to NPL 3, Melbourne Victory, Western United, Melbourne City all promoted to NPL 2, North Geelong Regional Club now promoted
Victory missed out.
Victory, sorry, no, it was Melbourne. Yep. It was Western United, Melbourne City, and Preston Lions. Yep. I mean, that's awesome. I mean,
that's great.
The caliber of clubs, not teams, just clubs coming up through the ranks of the NPL 2 and NPL 3. Craig, in 2 years' time, we're going to probably have almost like a quasi B League right here in Victoria with some of those clubs coming up through the ranks.
No, it's great. It's what football is, and I'll be one of the first to put my hands up and say I wasn't a believer of the NPL a few years back. But it's starting to become a real league now, isn't it? It's real football. It's what people want. Steve said earlier on. I just caught it as I came in. The crowd down there this afternoon was very good. And you would think next week in the grand final, a big support from South Melbourne, a big support from Oakley Cannons, and it's exactly what football needs. It needs. It needs to push on, and having these clubs coming through into NPL 2 is going to help that.
Actually, speaking of crowds, can I just jump in on the crowds as well that you mentioned there, Craig? You watch, if there's one thing you notice, you watch, and we're still going to maintain that we do have a superior competition. You watch the New South Wales grand final on TV, was that last weekend at Parramatta, and it really looks like a really healthy crowd there. And you just would urge all Victorian football fans to get along to the doubleheader grand final next weekend for the women's and the men's game, and really show that the support just for the game in general is there from the community, rather than a sort of a fractured bunch of lynch mobs running around. It's a very a very orchestrated support that people are also not only here for their club's sake or their sake, but just for the experience and the good of the game, and the fact that they think they might see a good match as well.
What do you reckon the crowd was today, guys?
Oh, look, you could probably see better from the screen, but they'd probably, I would imagine, there'd be 1,000 plus, maybe.
Yeah, let's say 1.5. Let's say 1,500.
Yeah. And even Wednesday's crowd was awesome. Wednesday's crowd at Oakley,
over 2,000, I think there. Yeah, which is incredible at a venue that also has an adjoining dog park in Oakley. It's absolutely fantastic, and the fact that they've got another home final as well. I was a bit sad that I missed out on getting there. I actually took the opportunity to go to the final winter night market down at Queen Victoria, but to see Oakley get another chance to play a home final and go down there and have a night out at Oakley and enjoy their cuisine will be great, and their football is equally good.
You'll have that opportunity on September the 14th, Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. there at Jack Edwards Reserve. Oakley Cannons hosting Macarthur FC. Before that, they're going to be involved in the grand final next week. Next Sunday at 2 p.m., the very, very viewer-friendly and attendee-friendly time of 2 p.m., Sydney United taking on Brisbane Roar at the Sydney United Sports Centre. That is going to be a huge, huge game. Our sister show, the Oz Crows Soccer Show, which goes to air this Wednesday, looks like we will be having assistant coach and former Melbourne Knights legend Joe Chaletta joining us, and he'll be talking all about that big one against Brisbane Roar. That's
huge.
Yep. So unfortunately, we've got some news about one of our guests tonight, have we?
We have. Unfortunately, Chris Taylor's just messaged me to say that he's had to drop out for an emergency relative situation. So he's going to be out, but we are going to try and get somebody else on from Oakley Caverns. So bear with us. Maybe we'll speak to the goal scorer from today's game, Alan Webb. Have a chat with him, and we'll look to get another person on from Oakley Cannons around about 7:45, 8 o'clock.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to take a very, very quick break. It was Father's Day today. Once again, a big, big Father's Day message and shout out to all the soccer dads out there. And one of the greatest places to have a function was at George Cross, the Georgie's on Vista Bistro there. This is a great place if you want to hold any end-of-year functions, or if you've got any special functions coming up. Make sure to book at Georgie's on Vista.
For a space for your next function? At Georgie's on Vista, our function room caters for all types of functions. Milestone birthdays, special religious occasions, work functions, hens or bachelor nights, baby showers, or whatever reason you decide is a good idea to get together with family and friends. Contact our friendly staff who will help you put together a menu that will suit your special occasion. Inquiries can be made via our website, georgiesonvista.com.au. Georgie's on Vista, in the heart of Fraser Rise. You'll find us at Caroline Springs, George Cross.
It requires effort, sweat and strong will, and Macron knows it. A leading global company with Italian DNA in the production and sale of sportswear. When Macron first entered the sports world in 1971, it was a small yet strong player. Since then, Macron has been growing at a very fast pace, supporting teams, sportsmen and women at all levels, working hard to supply them with the best technical products to help improve their performances. With over 4 million pieces of stock available in our Italian warehouse and an extensive range of on-field, off-field and free-time products, we cater for everyone from amateurs to professional sporting organisations, even referees. Ranked third most prominent football brand by the UEFA, Macron keeps expanding its presence worldwide, including Australia, where we are currently proud partners of Perth Glory, Macarthur FC, Port Adelaide and Parramatta Eels, and more to come. Work hard, play harder, Macron, your next teamwear partner. For more information, visit our website at www.macronvic.com.au or call us on 1800 Macron. Welcome back to the Football Out West Show. Our illustrious co-host Craig Filer has just started out to try and secure another guest in view of the fact that Chris Taylor has had to dart out due to a family emergency, I think it is. and is already back. Craig, have you managed to find?
We have, yeah. Thankfully, we've got ex-Melbourne City and current Oakley star Wade Decker's going to be on with the show. He's going to come on around 8 o'clock and have a chat for us. So
excellent,
great news. But waiting in the backgrounds, I believe we may have the scorer from today's game, Alan Webb. Alan, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Welcome to the show, Alan. It's great to have you. Yes, we can. Great to have you on the show, and thank you for joining us. We can hear him. He can't hear us, unfortunately. No. Can he hear you, Steve?
He can't hear you, can he?
No. Yeah, I can hear. Can I hear you now? Are we on?
Yes,
I think maybe he can hear yourself, Craig. So maybe you could fire away with an opening question.
No, I'll play around here. You carry on. You can't do anything, can you? Let's try and get him back. Bear with us a sec.
Okay.
Rightio.
All
right then. We'll carry on now. Steve, you've got some details of some state league playoffs played throughout the weekend. Scores.
Yeah, these games are classed as grand finals. I'm not sure if they're the grand finals that everyone forgot, or if they've been celebrated in style and what sort of strength lineups were fielded in this. But let's have a look at those. Yesterday in the men's State League 5 grand final, so Moonee Valley Knights, they knocked out Barwon, who we know the kind of quality they've had this season. So that's some effort by the Moonee Valley Knights. But they were beaten yesterday 3-0 by the St Kilda Soccer Club. But I'm concerned now. If someone might know in the comments, that may have been a forfeit even. In fact, I don't know if that is the case. Let's see. I think it's an actual result. That is a result. Okay, so well done to St Kilda Soccer Club. They've won the State 5 playoff grand final match yesterday. That was yesterday at 12:30. The later game took place at 3 o'clock. Uni Hill Eagles, which is a team we've talked about this season, they were 3-1 winners against Chisholm United. So well done to St Kilda and Uni Hill Eagles there in the men's. Some results from the women's finals. Week 1, we had Geelong Rangers beating Faulkner 1-0. A couple without results. Noble Park United beating Clifton Hill 1-0. Larry United 4-2 over Mill Park there, and Brunswick Juventus 3-0 over Ringwood City, as well as Endeavour United 3-0 over Bow Morris. Those matches have taken place today. That Endeavour United result was a forfeit. Actually, so was the Brunswick Juventus result. So a couple of forfeits in there, but a couple of big scoring matches as well.
Does that not tell you just how much seriousness, I guess, clubs take towards these postseason games? They just need to scrap them, honestly. Unless there's something to play for, unless they're a promotional playoff or anything like that, there's no point in having it. I know. Look, we talk about the under 12 team, my under 12 team. This is kids. You ask them what they want to do. They don't care about the finals. They don't care about that. They just want to win the league. Now that they've won the league, even next week's home game, normally a big derby game against a local side, they're not interested.
I think you put so much energy and effort into, and
that's what it is.
Into that opportunity to get promoted out of a league or be champions or both, which is no mean feat. Very, very hard to do. And then I don't know, maybe in future years when we've actually had a full season and teams have remembered that this is a thing that happens. But as you say, what is the reward to field a good team and go and win that game? Yes, it's got the title of a grand final, but is it really? I mean, I like that it's something that we're trying to do, but maybe it needs a review. And I don't know, maybe there's a chance that after we've had it for a couple of years, after we played full seasons, we'll get back into a habit of that. But as you say, incentive's important.
Yeah. Now, Jess, we may have our guest Alan Webb on the line. We're going to try and reconnect with him. Craig, you're there, and there we go. There's Alan. Finally, we got him. Congratulations, Alan, for today's 1-0 win over Green Gully, and you were also the goal scorer of the only goal. So, congratulations on that. Thank you for joining us on the show. Oh, no. Can you hear him, Craig? Steve?
No, I feel like Craig can hear him, but we cannot, perhaps. I don't know. Craig is laughing.
Can't seem to have it. We're having all sorts of all sorts of technical issues. Unfortunately,
Oh,
yeah. No,
that's frustrating because it looked like he had something pretty funny to say there as well. And he's definitely. It was a hard fought game, Tonchi. This was very hard fought, and it looks like he's done the smart thing and he's into the recovery already. He's propped himself up in bed there, which is I don't know. I almost considered doing the show from bed tonight, but I wasn't able to organise that in time. So maybe that'll happen in a future episode, perhaps.
So, folks, we don't seem to be having too much luck with our guests tonight. We were going to speak to Chris Taylor, the Oakley Cannons coach, after their magnificent midweek win over Sydney FC in the Australia Cup quarterfinals. And also they defeated Port Melbourne. In fact, it was a come-from-behind win against Port Melbourne last night. We may have footage of that. Let's have a little look. Here we go. Let's go through that. Did you watch this game, Steve, by any chance?
I didn't get to watch it, actually. I was out and about at another sporting event yesterday, but there is what looks like the opening goal, which was scored by Chris Duggan, a very familiar source, getting on the score sheet. And it looked like, I was speaking to Lockie Flanagan today, who commentated this game. He expected that Port Melbourne would go on and grind out the result, but you can see what happens next with the Cannons getting themselves back into it.
Joseph Knowles involved in this bit of play, and this is around about the 74th minute. What a screamer.
Wooshka from some distance there.
What a screamer that was. And that was 1-1, so the game then did go into extra time. And then the same player bobbed up in the 109th minute. What else? Who else? Yeah.
Who else but Joe Knowles? And of course, you may have already
heard, but through left foot, right foot. Wow.
Yeah, he's some player, and to see him firsthand in person at the ground this season was great. When I got to commentate Oakley games, he really delivered on both occasions. Once at Green Gully and once at Avondale. I think he got a double at Green Gully when I was there. And he finished a superb move when he was at playing against Avondale. But it's probably no secret now that he is on his way to play in the A-League next season, or this coming season, with Brisbane Roar, and that's a deal that's already been done. So if you want to see the next big prospect, and of course he scored in the friendly for Brisbane Roar on trial against Leeds United, if you don't mind as well. If you want to see a really good player who's, and a good example of someone who's been there before. I think he had some time with Perth Glory where he got some appearances there, had to come back and grind through the NPL, and his quality. And I guess it's a lesson for young players that what he's put together isn't just a few moments and a few nice goals on the highlights reel. It's a full body of work that he's put together over a number of consecutive seasons of consistent, good football, and that's what got his attention, or got the attention of Warren Moon, should I say, and the signing on the line for Brisbane Roar and an A-League contract to become a full-time player. So that's very exciting news, and it's good because, again, I think it shows that the NPL Victoria is the league that if you're a player that wants to get back and springboard back up to the top flight of professional football, this is the place to try and win that contract.
Perfect vehicle for it. Craig's back. How are you, Craig? Can we hear you at least?
Well, you should be able to hear me. I'm not sure why you couldn't hear Alan, but bit strange. But hopefully you'll be back on shortly with the link, so might be able to get a visual of him again. Yeah,
well, hopefully. Alan, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can hear you.
Us?
We can't see any visual. Oh no, we can see your bedroom now.
Oh, great. There you go.
We can see your bedroom, but we can't see you.
Don't worry, Alan. No one's watching the show. It's all right.
Stand in front of the camera now.
That's all right. Maybe we can just go no.
Yeah, we don't need a visual, mate. That's okay.
Yeah, I'm not. Is this like a Welsh thing to do, Craig? Is this something you do as well?
It must be. Yes. Anyway, we got sound of you. So first up, congratulations, mate, on a fantastic result, fantastic season. How was the game today for you?
Yeah, it was a really. I think both teams knew that there was a lot at stake, mistake, and I think that sort of showed in the way the game went. It was pressing, a lot of tackles. It was a really, I think, an entertaining thing who was there. So yeah, I'm just so happy that we managed to come out on top. A couple of injuries, massive get well soon. to Ben Gibber, who I think has broken one of his bones, and hopefully he gets well soon. And Andy got a little knock. So yeah, I think we reacted really well to. Just so happy to be getting into the grand final. It's what we play for. So yeah, delighted.
And Alan, without Harrison Sawyer at your disposal anymore to nod in those goals that he did so well all season, it's up to you guys now to try and take responsibility to find the back of the net. Pat Langlar scoring in a 1-0 win in your last game yourself today. Is that something that you took a lot of pride in, being that goal scorer today for that reason?
Okay. I think it's important that, as one of the forward players, you need to step games, and this is a big game, so really, really happy to have scored it. I think it's very difficult because he's, it's very rare that you get someone who's athletic finisher. Like, he's really, really unique, right, outstanding. But the players that we have are all really good too. So it's like opportunities for other players to come in and make us.
Does the style of play, obviously with Harrison Sawyer not being there now, and obviously yourself, certainly not a giant at 6'8", does the style of the team change, or is it still sort of the same sort of way of playing that the coach has you doing?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm maybe slightly vertically challenged compared to Harrison. But,
is that a Welsh thing?
Maybe, but
Craig's laughing.
I think you just have to use what we have. I think we just try and play with what we have, and we've got some really different. But I think that we're sort of game by game things, tougher opposition each time. The Dandenong City, and then I haven't think we've won each time. So a massive credit to everyone for our organisation. The boss, drills that into us massively, and a clean sheet gives you a great opportunity because you only need one goal, and so it's it's unbelievable. So yeah, but yeah, it was just a really great game to be a part of.
Now, Alan, first time in 6 years that South Melbourne have made it to the big dance. Not since 2016 has South Melbourne been in a grand final. We know South Melbourne are a huge club. They've got a massive supporter base, and look, a lot of the South supporters will probably have been holding back. But we know when it's a big game, they'll turn out in their masses against Oakley Cannons, the big Greek derby. It all augurs well for a massive grand final next week. Oakley, though, they've got some big games, and this arguably is not their biggest game. They've got a huge game the following Wednesday in the Australia Cup. Do you reckon for them this could prove to be a bit of a distraction that would work in your favour?
No, I don't. I think Oakley are a team of very, very good players, very experienced players, and they'll be wanting to win this for them. Obviously, they'll want to win. So I don't think in any way it'll be an option for them, and it's up to us to be preferring. Work hard at training this week, work out what we're going to do in the game, and then to apply them. But no, I think Oakley are going to be very much up for this game, and I'm sure they'll be. So yeah, I don't think for them they'll be thinking that at all. I think they'll think it's. So yeah.
Quick one for me, Al. Obviously, since you've been over in Australia, and obviously you've been up in the Raiders, and obviously Melbourne Knights, how do you find the standard of football here in Australia?
Yeah, it's particularly it really reminds me of home. I think it's very similar.
Except the weather, yeah.
Yeah, but I think physicality wise, it's very, very similar. Different. There was you almost got a little bit more time on the ball, and there's a lot more sort of whereas here it's very, very much like home, physical. You need to work hard. You've got and it's like a real battle every week. And we love it. I think it's like games. It makes the league appealing, and I think the quality shines through. To be fair to Oakley, how far they've gone in the Australia Cup, beat some big sides, and Sydney NPL sides in the semi-final of that. I think kind of highlights the strength of the NPL, in particular those two, but those two leagues anyway. But yeah, really, really good. And I think it's a really, really good competition. So I was so proud to win the Premier's Plate because there's so many good sides in the NPL Victoria. Top of the pile at the end, I think, is a massive achievement.
Oh,
yeah, it's been a fantastic campaign so far, without a shadow of doubt. Alan, what does a grand final week look like for you? Do you know what nights that you'll be training or having sessions with the boys to prepare for next Sunday?
I think it'll be the same as usual. I think it's about consistency, maintaining our standards. So I think we'll be training the exact same times. We'll train in the same way. Everyone works hard at training and puts it in, and I think that shows on the pitch. I think we've got some, we managed to see out games a lot, which I think says a lot about the way that we look after ourselves off and on the pitch. So yeah, it will just be all gear. The boss will have a plan for the game, and then, like I say, it's up to us to take the info and bring it on the pitch, and it's going to be an amazing game. I'm really excited. Looking forward to seeing where it into. We'll see.
Yeah, it will definitely be an exciting game, and we can't wait. On that note, Alan, thank you so much for joining us and showing us a little bit of your bedroom as well. We really appreciated that. But
all the best with the recovery.
Yeah, all the best for next weekend, whenever that may be. And yeah, it has been a fantastic year, and we look forward to an absolutely fantastic culmination in the NPL Men's Grand Final next week.
Thanks, fellas. Yeah, my missus won't be very happy that I accidentally showed you the bedroom because it's not tidy. So
good man, thanks. I know is your missus because she's you're very soon going to be having a youngster, aren't you?
Yeah, 2 weeks time. So hopefully.
Oh wow!
Season. So
well.
Yeah, she needs to hang on. She needs to hang on for those 2 weeks, mate. You don't want any distractions next week, do you?
No. Thanks, guys.
Well, a happy Father's Day for 2 weeks in advance, yeah? But all the very best with that. That's great news. Good on you, Alan. All the very best.
Cheers,
Thanks, Alan. Cheers, mate.
That was Alan Webb and his bedroom joining us here on the Football Outwear Show. Well, folks, we're going to take a very quick break. When we return, we'll be speaking to the coach of the Heidelberg United team, women's team, Jonathan Clemente, and they had their NPLW semi-final against Bulleen yesterday. So don't go away, folks. We'll be back very, very shortly.
On Vista is in the heart of Fraser Rise. You'll find us at Caroline Springs George Cross. Looking for a bit of fun with your meals? Tuesday night is bingo night. Bingo books are $2, eyes down at $7. And we have a special bingo menu for you to choose from, so be sure to get in early and grab a bite to eat beforehand. Friday night is poker night. Registration is from 6:30pm, with poker starting at 7:30pm. Why not join us beforehand for happy hour? Kicks off at 5:30. We're also on Uber Eats, so you can enjoy your favourite Georgie's meals in the comfort of your own home. Find us on the app. Dining in? Be sure to book your table to avoid disappointment. Bookings can be made via our website, georgiesonvista.com.au.
Welcome back to a very special Father's Day edition of the Football Out West Show. It is season 4 and episode 102. Craig, our guest Steve has our special co-host has stepped away.
He feels like
he's
back.
He's back
A little bit almost.
Yeah, he does.
Here
He's
he is.
slipping in and out. Craig, we've got our next guest lined up, have we? Oh, he takes a drink.
No, he's on. Is he on mute as well? Take yourself off mute as well.
Himself. He keeps on muting himself. Yeah. There we go. You're back there. No, no.
No audio. What's
Once
going
again,
on there?
that problem with that audio with him, I don't know what he's doing. He's got the
no.
audio gremlins. But anyway, let's bring on our next guest. It's an absolute pleasure to return to the Football Out West show, Jonathan Clemente, coach of the Heidelberg United women's team. Jonathan, thank you for joining us on the show. How are you?
Hey guys, thanks for having me back. In good spirits considering yesterday. So no, thanks for having me on. Pleasure.
Yep.
Yeah, very, very good to have you back on, Jono. How tough to take was it yesterday going down to the Bulleen Lions, 2-1 in that? Today in that match.
Yeah, it's a tough one to swallow, as any losses are, to be honest. But look, when I was reflecting on it, I'm not going to let one loss, kind of taint the year that we've had. We've had a fantastic year with so many great outcomes, both for the club and for the players on an individual point of view. So it's a tough one. I think finals football, it's crazy. It's a different ball game. We beat Bulleen 3 times this year in the season, but when it matters most, they just had a little bit more experience than us in those key moments where we just made some errors we didn't make, in the other 25 games we played this year. But when it mattered, we did. So that's footy. We'll learn. So no, interesting one for sure.
Jono, would you put that down to nerves, or would you put that down to just the pressure that Bulleen may have been applying on you? But what post when you start thinking about and address the players post match, what did you kind of attribute the reason for that loss to?
I think in my head, it's probably the experience. Like I'm looking at that Bulleen team, there's 3 or 4 of their star players are from the Melbourne Victory A-League team that went on a fantastic finals run and run the league. So they've been there before where, they were the underdog and the backs were against the wall. And then in those key moments, and you talk about managing the moment, and it's really important to make the right decisions under pressure. They did that and we didn't. The reality is for Heidelberg, they haven't been in the NPLW finals ever. So it's a massive thing, and myself as well included in that, with an average squad age of 21. And I was looking at my squad, and I was looking at the names, and I've got Steph Kalia, Ali Torre, some experienced NPL footballers, but they've never played finals.
Yeah,
it's just a different ball game, So it's definitely a learning curve. But look, we've made it. That was the KPI for this year. Make finals, we did, with flying colours. So next year, I've got no doubt we'll go one better.
And some of those girls you mentioned there, they've had fantastic seasons there at Olympic Village for your team. Is there a chance we might see some of them lining up in the A-League Women's perhaps this season? Now we've got three clubs in Melbourne competing this coming season.
Yeah, for sure. Like I can't say too much, but there should be about six or so Heidelberg girls into the A-League this year, which I'm super proud of.
So
probably
proud,
the best achievement this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
Mate,
stay tuned.
That's brilliant. Now, what happens like next year? Like next year, the NPLW is going to go to 12 teams, but once the W League season finishes, and remember, it is the World Cup year. Is there going to be any special loan agreements, loan arrangements? Is there going to be any dual registration, or what will happen? For example, these 3 Melbourne Victory players that played at Bulleen, did they have to register outright for Bulleen, or and then register back for Melbourne Victory, or are they on loan? How does that whole off season for the A-League Women's work?
Yeah, so they're on loan. If they've got a 2-year contract with an A-League team, they have to get loaned out because it's a professional contracts. But sometimes it's only a 1-year deal, and then they'll just sign for Bulleen or Heidelberg, and then they get signed back up. But this coming year or the next season, because there's a gap and an overlap in the seasons, they'll have to be loaned out. So they've got a 1-year deal, which is going to make the competition very interesting because I think this year and the previous years, it's really important who had the best A-League players.
Yeah,
a good chunk of next year's competition, you won't have the A-League players.
Yeah.
So it'll change the dynamic of it, which will be really, really interesting. And then the year after, there'll be no A-League players in the NPLW because the seasons will co-align. So it's a lot of change in the NPLW coming, and like you said, with 4 teams coming up to 12, it's a very interesting one.
Well, it
And
gives it.
Jono, do
Go
we
on,
know
Steve.
what the season? Do we know what the season will look like next season? Because we've played this competition where we play everyone 3 times. Next season, 12-team league. Are we looking at 22 rounds? Play everyone twice, something like that? Is that what
Yeah,
you're
that's
expecting? And a similar start time or earlier start time?
earlier start time. So start in Feb to accommodate for the World Cup. But
Yeah.
it'll be 22 rounds and start in Feb.
Yes, shorter preseason.
It's going to come
what we
around
like.
very fast. That's going to be so
Yeah.
soon. No rest for you, Jono, in the coming weeks. Just start
Definitely
planning for the
not, yeah.
preseason.
I'm already starting to have withdrawal symptoms, and the season practically hasn't finished. But no, for all the football tragics out there, that is good news. And look, the NPL 2 and NPL 3 as well expanded next year, and they'll be starting in an early February start. So that's going to be awesome. Let's get back to that expanded 12-team competition next year. We've got, I think we've got the graphic here as well of the teams that are going to go up. Now, this is the final standings of the Victorian Premier League women's competition. Preston Lions, Boroondara Eagles, Southern United, and Melbourne University finished top 4. But we believe Melbourne University don't fulfil the criteria of having facilities and junior teams and what you're not. So Casey Comets will be jumping up there. So that's Preston, Boroondara, Southern United, who have been in the comp before, and Casey Comets. We've spoken about this with a few people, yourself included, in the past. 4 teams, is that too big of a jump? We even mentioned this, I think, to Kimon Telidoros a couple of weeks ago at George Cross, Stephen. I think he agreed it is a big jump, but that's the way we want to go towards expanding the competition. Good thing, bad thing, Jono? What do you reckon next year?
It's an interesting one. There's obviously plenty of rumours going around of is Casey actually going to jump up? Do they fit the criteria as Melbourne Uni, Southern? There's a lot. I'm not going to kind of fuel into it. So I don't know if that's going to be the correct standings at the end of it. But to be honest, I think and this is respectfully to the VPL teams that have come third, fourth, or fifth, I think it's going to kill the league. In terms of the quality as a whole, we struggled in the last 3 years because good Melbourne players would have to they'll go to New South Wales competition because they feel like the competition's better. So we had girls like Alana Murphy, Naomi Chinema, who are Melbourne girls, represent us in the World Cup, and everyone's saying they're Sydney-based girls because they play in the Sydney NPL. We didn't have one player from the Melbourne
Right,
NPL.
yes.
So all these players are going to New South Wales because the competition's better. And then, again, respectfully, we're going to add teams that have dropped 8 to 10 games in NPL 2 and expect them to, one, have the budget and the finances to recruit players, but you need more than that. You need more than just money, So for me, keeping the NPL smaller and high quality is the key because we want to get these girls back. We don't want them playing in Sydney. We should be confident with our own quality of our league that we can offer these girls, a league where they can be proud of and developing. But going to 12 teams for the sake of it, I think it shoots ourselves in the foot, to be honest. And, it makes my job harder, makes every other coach's job harder as well.
It's interesting as well. And if we're out on commentary duty in the NPLW next season, can we expect to see cricket scores in some of these matches that real serious mismatches?
Look, unfortunately, I think so because, I don't think clubs have financially have the money to really back this and come up, and then to actually draw players. So you need the financial backing to sign some of these players, but the player's going to have to actually want to come, and I just don't think that, the clubs can do it, to be honest. You've already got the top 3 clubs, that's excluding Heidelberg, who pay big money, and they've got the star power, and you want to add another 4 to that. The talent pool, as it is in women's football, is small.
That's the
That's the tricky part. So it's a small talent pool, and you're expanding the premier competition. You're just diluting it, to be honest. So it's very, very interesting.
And have you had conversations with Football Federation on this?
Where's your camera?
Sorry, Craig, what did you say?
Where's your camera?
There we go. Is that better?
There is.
That's good.
Sorry, John. How are you, mate?
I want to see your lovely face.
Yeah, thanks. Have you had conversations as a club with Football Victoria around your thoughts and your your reasons and what was the outcome of that?
That's a good question.
Yeah, at the moment, no, it hasn't gone to the clubs. So there's a lot of talk about potentially, what's the go of NTC? What's the go with Melbourne City and Melbourne Victory? Would that help them being in the league, for example? And
Well, surely the NTC, which is the emerging, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Are they not in the final?
Yeah, they're in the semis. Yeah, they're in the semis. So
So
it's like,
wouldn't it make sense for them to be in that
yeah,
league?
like sure, but there was question marks about how long is that actually going to run for? Like, are they going to continue that program?
Yeah.
That question has to be answered. Where do the A-League clubs sit in this? Because in New South Wales, you've got Newcastle Jets, Central Coast Mariners, who have teams in the NPL.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Melbourne Victory, who have a full-blown, close to girls' academy, but no, they can't play games. But so they've got obviously the financial backing in the club to support development of female footballers and potentially make their A-League girls full-time because the money's not there. Instead of having to go to clubs and try and, play NPL or even play state league in some cases just to earn money where they could be in the A-League setup the whole time. But instead, we're offering it to the fifth place or sixth place team in the VPL.
They'll finish 19 points behind Preston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And it's like, why are we doing that? Because I get, right, you want a 12-team league, but think about the development. Don't think about next year and we want 12 teams. Think about who are the 12 teams? Can they actually survive? And why are you doing it in the first place? That's, again, I'm very passionate on it because I've been in women's football a little while now, and I've had to grow a program, with myself and my staff at Heidelberg United, and it's not easy. And Heidelberg's a massive club, and you're going to ask Casey Comments and Southern to do that. I'm sure that, and I know the people at these clubs, and they're great people, but you need a lot more than that. So I think FV are going to shoot us in the foot, really.
But that was getting back to my question about whether they're loan players or whether they're transferred outright. I guess that then talk, for example, Melbourne City these days based down in the southeastern suburbs in Casey. If Casey Comets was to come or Southern United are promoted, isn't that the natural thing that, all right, if they're going to then farm out their players, particularly their younger players, to clubs like that, and that then will bolster the competition, the quality stands. Calder United is still going to remain in the league. I'm hearing that, and they're tied with Western United, so there's that natural connection there as well. And then Victory, I suppose, they're going to start farming out their players, whether it's to Bulleen or to Heidelberg or South Melbourne, whatever the case may be. So you'd expect those players to be in the competition anyway. But as you say, the fear there is going from an 8-team competition to 12-team, and Preston will do well. Burundara will do well. Southern United will need to pick recruits, correct? Yeah. And let's say Casey, they will definitely have to, virtually 3/4 of their team or their squad would have to be recruited. So time will tell if that's going to be the case. But Jono, how have you seen kind of the club's approach towards women's football, particularly over the last 12 months, in view of next year's World Cup coming?
I think as a whole, I think everyone around the state has improved a lot in terms of the exposure that they're giving women's football, and I think the resources as well. And I think coaches are also looking at women's football and saying, this is an avenue I want to get into because I just want to explore, I want to learn, and just try a different skill set for coaching, which I think is a massive bonus for everyone, really. So I would say it's definitely improved. I know from Heidelberg's point of view, it's fantastic. We're very well supported, but I think everywhere, to be honest, like looking at the state leagues, it's been really good to see the promotion of all the women's teams and on the social media, and the coaches who are actually coaching these teams well qualified, and I think things will be good.
Jono, speaking of the World Cup, Matildas are in camp at the moment. They played Canada yesterday, another game on Tuesday night. What's your view on the team? Do you follow them closely? And can you see us having any cause for optimism, or are you feeling a bit pessimistic at the moment about the Matildas leading into the World Cup?
Tricky one. Yeah, tricky one, to be honest.
They've won 6 out. They've won 6 out of 20 games, Steve. So we can. I think that sort of sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I just take that how you will, Jono.
Yeah. No, it's. I think we're in a real bit rebuilding process, but I don't know if we should be in a way. You know what I mean? Like we had such a great team a few years ago, And it's like we're kind of in this transitional spot where did we have to be kind of thing.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But we've got quality players at the end of the day as well. We're playing in the top European leagues around the world, so hopefully that will give us something. But I think a little bit more pessimistic than anything for sure, like everyone else.
Yep. Craig, any last questions for Jono?
What does off season look like for you now, mate? Obviously, it's been a long season for everybody. It's been a cold winter. What's your plans now for the off season? Do you head off on your holidays, or does the program start at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning?
I'm pretty much full time, mate. So I'll take this week off, and then I'm pretty much back on the park next week. So. What else would you rather do, mate?
You're spot on. You're spot on.
Yeah, absolutely,
Nailed
mate.
it.
Well,
Yep.
enjoy a week off. Enjoy the little bit of a break that you're going to get. And all systems go then for planning for season 2023. Either way, it is going to be a very, very intriguing 2023 with the World Cup, with the expanded NPLW competition. And certainly we look forward to seeing how Heidelberg go. As you said, we want to go one better next year. So all the very best for all the prep for next year.
And I promise you, I will get you on when you win a game next year, okay?
Sounds like a plan.
I'm
in a better mood. I'm in a good mood now, but you'll be, mate. The ratings will be off the roof. I promise.
I look forward to it, Jono. That's
good
great.
man, Jono.
There's you got a lot of fans there saying A-League Women's Coach soon, NPLW Coach of the Year. So you've got a lot of fans there, mate, and we certainly appreciate you coming on the show. You've got 3 very big fans in Steve, Craig, and myself. So thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Appreciate all the comments as well, boys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Good lad. Thanks, Jono.
Enjoy the
Jonathan Clemente, what a lovely fella he is, and it's great to have him on the show. Boys, we're going to have a very, very short break. When we return, we've got he's coming off the substitutes bench, Wade Decker from Oakley Cannons. He's replacing his coach, Chris Taylor, who was unable to be here, but we certainly are very, very appreciative of Wade Decker jumping in at the last minute. He'll be joining us very shortly on the other end of this break. Bye.
You find authentic Maltese cuisine? At Georgie's on Vista, in the heart of Fraser Rise. We have a menu to suit everyone, which includes kids and seniors meals, and a cocktail list that will need you to come back several times to get through. Our specialty nights are a big hit. Tuesday is $20 Palmer night with a selection of Palmers to choose from. Kids eat free Wednesday night. With every paid adult meal, you get 1 free kids meal. Thursday is Maltese night. Check out the Maltese specials on our specials board. And Friday night, we have happy hour between 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Be sure to book your table to avoid disappointment. Bookings can be made via our website, georgesonvista.com.au. See you at George's on Vista. You'll find us at Caroline Springs, George Cross.
Welcome back to the Football Out West show. Craig, it's time for our next guest.
Yeah, looking forward to speaking to the next one. It's been a fantastic season for him personally, obviously, and his football club, and looking forward. And he still hasn't finished. They still got a lot of football to be played. So, Wade Decker, thanks for joining us, mate.
Hey guys, how are you?
We're very good.
Very well, thanks.
Thank you for joining us last minute. You're off the substitutes bench. The gaffer wasn't able to make it. Hopefully everything is fine with him. But what a massive period! What a massive time for the Oakley Cannons last week, this weekend, and next week or next fortnight. How are you finding it all there at Jack Edwards Reserve?
Yeah, loving it. Obviously, we've had a great season. That's for sure. Obviously, played a lot of games as well. So. Few tired legs, but been a great season.
Now, Wade, the next day after your big cup win against Sydney FC, the Bentley Secondary College kids got treated to some special, very special education from yourself. Can you tell us a little bit about
that? Yeah, so I'm a high school teacher and me, and they love their soccer. So I did tweet class and PE class and maths class. So we watched some of the highlights of the obviously in maths and the shots to goal ratio of Mr. Decker and energy systems of the game. So yeah, it was a bit of fun. Do as well.
So how do you, and I spoke to Chris earlier on about this, about obviously the amount of football you played, and you guys have obviously got some injuries. You've played a lot of football, 40 plus games, I think. How do you as a group of players keep getting up for these big games? Because I know people will say, well, it should happen because all footballers should get up for big games. But when you play the amount of football that you guys have, at the intensity that you guys have, how do you get yourselves up for that week in, week out over the last 2 to 3 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, we're fortunate enough to have such a great change room, to be honest. Like, all of us are good mates. And of course, it helps as well when you have success, when you're bouncing up, coming off wins and goals and on the field. You're just treating it as a game. It's another game. And so I don't there's no, I guess, particular formula, but in the end, I'm enjoying, and so you just keep going. And you can see that we've got something good. So it's like we want to go all the way.
Brilliant.
Steve?
I mean, Steve, go.
Oh, okay. You've had a good run in front of goal this season, 15 goals. You've had a couple of bags of 3 and 4 as well. How did you feel when the gaffer sent you back to play at left back recently to fill in for a few injuries in that part of the field?
Yeah, not ideal. I've never played left back in my life. I think I played right back when I was maybe under, and it's burned in my mind, and I remember that because I literally went to pass it back to my keeper, and the opposition striker intercepted and scored a goal, and that was the last time I ever played defence. And he turns around and says, "Yep, we need you to play left back," and I was like, "Oh gosh, here we go." So look, unfortunately, we had a lot of injuries, and in the end, just had to do what I did the best I could, even though, I think even that first game, so against Bonnie Rig, but not ideal.
Now we're watching a little bit of highlights here from last night's game. Come from behind game result there. Joseph Knowles, that thunderbolt in the 74th minute, and then he also scored in the 109th minute. Now, when Port Melbourne took the lead, so that was in the 55th minute with Chris Dugan. Was it a case of there's a small part, that little voice starts coming in your head and starts saying, yeah, season's over. Oh, another 25, 30 minutes. Yep, the season's over. That's it. Or did the boys really just dig deep, right from that moment? Did they sort of say, nah, we've got this. We're not going to let this slip away. We've come too far to let it slip away.
Yeah.
After that goal.
I missed that end bit, but 100%. It was yes, they scored, but we always, for sure, in the boys and in the team, and there was still there was 50 time to go, 35 minutes. It's plenty of time to still score. Of course, a bit of doubt, but at the same time, with the team we've got in the forward line, we'll always go crazy. So Nosey, absolute quality finish in the 70th minute. That really, we knew that there was a chance to come, and a few chances. So we put one away, and obviously we're in the game, and we managed to score. And it was obviously one all time. It was okay, here we go. Thankfully, we've done this the last couple of weeks, so we know as a group we really pulled together, and we just had that willingness to want to win. We just knew, we dug deep, and we obviously got the result, which was awesome.
Now, you spoke about Joe Knowles there, and obviously you've had the experience of playing A-League yourself down there at Melbourne City. Obviously, Joe's had a fantastic season. Steve mentioned earlier on, had a bit of a trial with them and a bit of a run out with Brisbane Roar recently, and played against Leeds United. How chuffed are you for him, obviously having been through all that yourself? How chuffed are you for him, and how good is it to see, quality NPL players getting an opportunity to go and play at A-League level?
Oh, it's awesome. Nosy and I get along really well, and we actually grew up playing against each other. And when he came over to Oakley, what was it, last year or the year before? Straight, even on the field, always felt we linked up really well. We just know what each other are going to do, what each other's runs, and just seem to have the really good connection on the field and off the field. We're near my school too, so I often would go over to his house and hang out. So absolutely stoked that he could get that chance, and as you said, he deserved it. And so I hope it all works out for him. I mean, to score against Leeds, and I hope it continues to work out for him because he deserves it. He's worked hard this season, and we don't see too many NPL players getting a chance to go away. Another NPL player getting a chance and showing that give us a chance. You never know what could happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, now, Wade, I wanted to talk a bit about the Australia Cup match again with your goalkeeping crisis that you suffered there. Nick Feely out injured.
Chris Taylor was going to play him. Not only did Chris Taylor lay in left back, he was going to play him in goals.
Yeah, how unsettling was that? You wouldn't have known what was going to happen with Lewis flying in or not to play. I presume the players hadn't trained with him, obviously. Maybe you hadn't met him, and your sub-keeper was a 14-year-old lad on the bench. How unsettling was that for you guys going into a game against Sydney FC of all teams?
Yeah, very unsettling. Had no idea what was. Obviously met Lewis the day of the game. But that lead up, we were just like, even at training, we were just like, what? Literally no keeper. And we didn't do shooting that night. So it was great to have him just rock up, to be honest. And obviously, what a great job he did in goal. And I mean, what an opportunity as well for the little 14-year-old to sit on the bench of an NPL. I mean, versus an A-League team as well. So it was an opportunity for him, and I know all the other kids, as you would be. But I mean, it was just, to be honest, of what's happened.
It could only happen. It could only happen in Australia, couldn't it? You're playing in a quarterfinals of a national tournament. Your goalkeeper gets injured. You have to fly in a goalkeeper from Perth that day. He's never met his players, and you've got a 14-year-old on the bench, and you win the game. It's comic book stuff, isn't it?
Literally, right? You wouldn't pick it.
You can't make that up.
Yeah. You literally can't.
Well,
Well,
hopefully the fairy tale can continue next week. You got a massive game on Sunday. Obviously, that is the perfect warm-up game or practice game, if you like, ahead of next Wednesday week. Here are the fixtures. So Sydney United taking on Brisbane Roar up in Sydney, 2 p.m. there at the Sydney United Sports Centre. It's going to bring a massive crowd, a former National Soccer League giant. And then it's your turn, Wade, on Wednesday night at Jack Edwards Reserve. If next Sunday is not going to be a huge crowd, I mean, it's going to be a massive crowd, but this is going to be also equally huge when Oakley Cannons entertain Macarthur FC. Mate, wishing you all the very best for that. But before we let you go, what's the next week and a half look like? Will Chris give you any days off, obviously trying to manage any injuries and things like that, or will you be training pretty much every day at reduced intensity here and there post-match? What's the next 9 to 10 days look like as far as the training regime?
This week we're training Tuesday. He's giving us Monday off, which is nice. Training then the game Sunday, and then I think depending what happens Sunday, we may go in, maybe choose look, honestly, the last month for us, it's just been 2 months. It's just been games and training, and it's all just been last minute. It's not last minute. We play the game, see how the boys pulled up. How long do we play? Do we play 120? Do we need to recover? 2 days like
yeah.
It's just take it as it comes. Literally take each day as it comes, essentially. So that's what's been. happening. So I know that week, but after that and Sunday, big game, and then after that, I'm not sure. We'll see what happens.
So tomorrow night you've got the NPL gold and what I can't think
Gold medal night.
Gold medal night. So you guys will be on your best behaviour tomorrow. You obviously won't be drinking, and then straight back into training on Tuesday. Is that right?
Exactly right. Yep.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, good on you, Wade. Take care. Enjoy the week leading up to the grand final. Enjoy next week's massive Australia Cup semi-final. And then after that, I guess there's a chance to enjoy the off-season. But until then, there's going to be some big games coming your way.
Beautiful. Thanks, heaps, guys, for having me, and I appreciate it.
Thanks, Wade, and all the best, pal.
Thanks, Wade. Best of luck, mate.
Wade Decker. Oh, gents, thanks, Craig. Well done for organising that such last minute, and well done. Thank you to Wade Decker, folks. That wraps up.
Before we do go, Tonch, if an update on South Melbourne's night is going from good to better. Their under-21s are currently in action down there at Lakeside Stadium in the semi-final of the under-21s, and they're beating Avondale 2-0 after 64 minutes. That's available on npl.tv if you want to tune in.
Good stuff, guys. Thank you very much. We will see you guys next week, possibly at the later time of 8 p.m. for a very, very special final episode of the
Check your
Football
local
Gateway
guides.
Show. Yeah, stay tuned to that. We're a bit like everything with the Football Victorias, and it's kind of like we'll find out a few days before what goes on. But it should be a huge week. Gents, thank you for joining us this show this week. It's been a whirlwind episode, and we look forward to next week's grand final special show.
And we'll see you both tomorrow evening.
We'll do for the Geelong Region Soccer. No, tomorrow. No. We'll see the Geelong Region Soccer Show is in two days.
Special
time,
night, Tuesday.
And tomorrow night we will be off to the gold medal night. So we'll have some great footage for you all next week. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.